Hello, welcome to this video. Another rapid game. I hope the coughing is not too much this video, because I'm having a bit of a cold. Caro-Kann, classical. We go for the Tartakower here. Most of the time they take. So this variation should be quite easy for black. I must say, in my practice I haven't mastered this variation quite yet. So I don't know if my results are that good in this variation. I know knight f3 is not the most critical variation at the master level. I wonder if white is gonna castle anytime soon. Castle queenside, okay. I think he's gonna do that. One upside of this variation is that our development is quite easy in the beginning. This knight is always going to d7. Most of the time it's going to f8 to have the temporary defense on h7. It can later jump to e6. In some variations even to f6 if we play g6 and f4 first, but with our bishop here that's of course out of the question. Sometimes you also have a battery on this diagonal. This one. I'm not used to drawing errors, but I now see it's easy. Don't think that's a good habit, because over the board you cannot draw arrows. Okay, he's going for an attack. I think he wants to go after my bishop. Then we get the pawn cube, it's called. I'm not too worried about it at the moment. Okay, so he's going to take. So right now I'm thinking of just taking the bishop. And then look at some b5, a4, 5 ideas. And at some point maybe the queen to a5. Knight b6 to d5. We have a very stable knight over there. I really have to study this variation a bit more in depth. So are we afraid of g5? So if we take with the pawn, if it takes with the knight, then we have to play something like g6. Then in the long run, you can go for rerouting his queen to the h file. We don't have a lot of defenders over there. Maybe we can even get away with h5 then. Then he doesn't have a pawn to attack that. Of course, you can sack a rook there. I think I'm in time to defend with a knight to d5 and can always go to f6. Looks scary though. His attacking potential with the bishop. Open files, queen. Taking with the pawn, okay. Well, is that thing mate in 1? We have to stop that. But now I can't get my knight to d5 and then f6 to defend here. So I maybe have to play knight d7, f8. So that was not very smart of me. Another calculation problem, because I only thought about knight takes or bishop takes. Pawn takes I didn't even consider. So that is a big flaw in my thinking. So maybe it's going for Allergein's gun. Knight e7, rook h1, knight f8. Sacrifice a rook. Then bring the queen and I'm screwed. But maybe there's another option. King f or king g7 and then rook h8. Then my knight can go to d5. Then it's very hard for him to do anything on this diagonal. What is my attacking plan, or attacking plan? Save the position plan, I mean. Still thinking of knight d5. Then maybe bishop f4. If he takes, I fork the queen and the rook. And I also solve any dangers of my weak dark squares. I'm not too happy with how this is going. But I can learn from this. This game, the time it's quite even compared to some other games where opponents play really quick. This player is also taking his time. So a serious player. King b1, okay. So he wants to avoid any checks on this diagonal, or maybe just a waiting move to prevent any counterplay, because in long castle King b1 is almost always a move you make at some point. So let's centralize the knight. what to do. I can play knight f4 and then I win the bishop pair. Or I can play bishop f4 and then if he moves his bishop, like on e1, then I can take the pawn, and if he takes with a knight, I take with a queen. What's happening then? Then they can sack the rook. I take with the rook. If he sacks another rook, then it's a bit too much sacrificing. Looks like a plan, winning a pawn. He can also just move a rook or his queen. Then there's no fork threat. Like rook h4, for example. Sorry about the coughing. Yeah, what he's going to do. I think rook h4 is the best. Then it forces me to move my bishop. And what are my plans? If there's like a waiting move, then I can think of creating some space on the queen side. A5. He's taking quite some time. Normally I'm the one who's getting low on time, even in over the board games. They say openings don't matter a lot, but if you know your stuff, then at least the least thing it can do is save you some time. Because in the past, over the board, I could spend like a ton of time in the first 10 moves. Okay. Wow. That's a cool move. He's actually threatening Queen E5. And then if I play King G8, then Rook takes H7 is strong. But I can block with F6. It's the only move. So knight takes or queen takes. Queen takes, then there's no checks. Now it's looking better for me. My knight is defending h7, so I can think of playing this rook to the e file. But then d5, and I cannot take with the knight. I take with the pawn. I also have knight g4, but it's an empty threat because he can just defend this pawn with a rook, and there's no fork. I have no attacking potential anymore because it's an endgame. So I can safely take this rook off this a file, putting pressure on the d pawn is easily defended by c3. So I'm just gonna take the open file, I think. You can go knight b3 and have the c5 square, but I don't see how that is helping him. Okay, so he wants to go to knight e5 maybe. Check here. Do I worry about that? King is defending here. I can defend this pawn with a rook. Thinking of playing rook e6 and then h5, double up on the e file, move the knight so this square is defended. Still has knight e5 though. Okay, let's do this. What's his plan? I just have a pawn here, right? Take a pawn. Check. Let's not take the risk. And then one on time. Oh no, not well. That's close. Put some more pressure here. Check. Win the exchange. Trying some desperate checks. Have to focus now. And he resigned. Okay, well, it's still a close game. So I looked at the opening a bit, at the game. I do this at Lichess, by the way, because the chess.com classroom is a bit too annoying for me. So the opening is fairly standard. Bishop e2 is not a very common move. Like at the Lichess database, it's 16%. At master, it's more common, but in the course, it's not not really mentioned. But we should follow standard development here. Bishop g4 is the main idea when the knight is on f3. So this is all fairly standard development. b5 is also good here. Knight b6 also. In a lot of these structures, when we have the pawn on b5 and white castles long, an idea is to play knight c4 or d5. Here I made a very big blunder. I took on g5, but I actually didn't have to take it all. And at the moment that wasn't even crossing my mind, so that's a big weak spot for me. Because the instinct is, okay, there's a pawn, we have to take it. I should have played knight d5 here. And then I was fine. Let's check with the computer if, let's say, do this. I just can take and nothing is wrong. But I took, and then the computer suddenly gives white +3 at least. Then white has to take with the knight, but took with the pawn. And yeah, white is still a lot better here. But yeah, somehow white spoiled the advantage. So at this point I was already better again. There's nothing much to say about the opening or the game. Yeah, here I'm black's totally winning. So well, it's a nice game. And thanks for watching. I hope to see you next video. Bye bye.